Yeah, like people, when they find out I'm a native, they'll like apologize.
Huh?
And one time I had a guy recently actually came up to me and he was like, thank you for your land. He's like, I just want you to know I really do appreciate it. I really want you to know that I appreciate the land and I want to thank you for the land.
Oh, my.
And I'm just like, wow, okay.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I just kind of laughed and
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just weird.
Okay, so what other weird stuff have people said to you when they realize you're native?
Well, one that just pops in my head I can think of was one time I was approached by an Army recruiter. I was like 18 or 19, and, you know, he's doing the Army recruiter thing like, hey, son, like, you want to get free college? Or I told him that I felt kind of weird fighting for the government, and, you know, I was Native American, and then he made some comment, you know, how Native people were warriors, so that even more of a reason for me to fulfill my Native destiny by joining the Army. So it's like, no, not going to sell me on that. My great uncles taught me well.
So does that characterization of Native people being warriors, does that show up a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's one of the things people try to make an excuse for about, like, the whole mascot thing.
Oh.
Like, oh, Native people were proud warriors, and they're just trying to represent that. First off, not everybody was a warrior. And second off, like, let us do that.
Right.
Sometimes people, they just have, like, this premeditative, like, fantasy in their head about what we're going through or how we feel.
Yeah.
Oh, they must be this way or that way.
Instead of what? What would be better?
Instead of just coming at it like you're just simply asking questions, which I can respect that, you know.
Yeah, just ask questions if you don't know, right? Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Tell me about your background.
I grew up in Duluth. I went to middle school and high school there, so northern Minnesota, like the Iron Range.
Yeah.
I started playing music in high school.
Oh,
Actually middle school, but
what kind of music do you play?
heavy metal,
Heavy metal?
punk rock, heavy metal.
Awesome.
So
Wow, metalhead in Duluth. Did you ever get into country music?
no, and that's why Duluth sucked. But people would come to our shows. There'd be like 120 kids inside of a tiny little
Wow.
record store space.
Is your whole band native?
Nope, got guys with last names like Lutz and Lefton and other strong Norwegian names. But they're all cool. They come from South Dakota and western Minnesota, which is historically a bad area.
What do you mean?
Because the Plains tribes were historically like they're the badasses, and so the U.S. government did everything they could to pummel them, and they did a good job. But I feel like they hate Native people more than they do black people.
Wow, like today?
In the Plains areas.
Really? You think that's tied to the history of them
Fighting back,
fighting
because that's what they did. They tried to take their land back, which, can you blame them?
No. Okay, so how about here? Do you think there's racism in Minneapolis?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Tell me about it.
There's a ton of like Native people living under the Cedar Franklin Bridge right now. It's kind of ironic that Native Americans are homeless in America.
Yeah. Not only that, but the other irony is that every meeting that I'm in these days starts off with a land acknowledgement, like expressing the fact that we are on Native land. And like 10 years ago, you had never heard of that, right?
That's never happened before.
Yeah.
Like, that's a new thing. It just seemed like nobody ever cared about Native issues or like what we were going through.
Yeah.
Even though we've been like screaming since the 1700s about our issues, and finally it feels like people are seeing and hearing us.
Yeah. Yeah, but now it seems like a lot of tribes are actually getting their land back, right?
I've seen like Mille Lacs, they just got back 300 million acres or something. Oklahoma also got like 600 million acres.
Wow.
It's probably some old fracking area that some companies were done with. And they're like, okay, we'll give it back to you. The land is the most important thing to us in general. So
Yeah.
in whatever way or fashion to get land back, I think is a good thing. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I mean, I'm really liking that Native people are at the forefront of people's sight now, finally, you know. Like, James Beard Awards have been around for how long, and they're just now starting to give them out to POC restaurants.